Okay, we are live on YouTube.
Hi, Dr. Haas.
Good evening. How are y'all doing?
Are we waiting for Rosa?
We are waiting for, I don't know if Mr. Wade's just getting on. I haven't gotten a message from Dr. Atkins.
I think we can go ahead. Is she the,
Here she is.
okay. Hey, y'all.
That should be everybody.
Okay, so we should probably start with the annual organization meeting. Do we want to call the meeting to order as the superintendent does that, or do I do that as older chair? I don't know what happens here.
Typically, it's a superintendent.
Your superintendent of record runs the meeting until your chairperson is selected, and then everything else goes from there.
Great.
Matt, I'm the superintendent of record, right?
Correct. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. I'd like to, then I'll go ahead and start, Ms. McKeever, if that's okay with you.
Please, thank you.
I'd like to call the January 19th, 2021 school board meeting to order, please. Madam Chair, would you, Madam Clerk, will you take the roll, please?
Dr. Acuff,
Here,
Ms. Coulson,
Here.
Ms. McKeever,
Here.
Ms. Osborne,
Here.
Mrs. Puryear,
Here.
Mr. Wade.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The first order of business tonight is the election of a chairperson for the K-Tec board. We now
I would
open
like
the
to go
floor
ahead
for
and
nomination.
nominate Ms. Coulson to be chair.
Thank you. We have a nomination from Ms. Coulson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And that was seconded by Ms. Acuff.
I think Ellen Osborne and I did a duet.
Right. Any discussion? All right. Madam Clerk? May we have a roll, the vote?
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Chisholm. Congratulations. You are now our K-Tec Board Chairperson, and I will gladly turn the meeting over to you.
Here's where you all see me crash and burn. I'm in a rental house. I'm like, got the agenda up on my phone, but okay, let's move this right along. Next up will be the election of vice chairperson. Do we have any nominations?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to nominate Jennifer McKeever for Vice Chair of the K-Tec Board.
Do we have any seconds? I'm happy to second that.
I'll second.
And then may we get a vote, please? Or do any discussion? Can we get a vote, please?
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Next up, I'm assuming we should go one by one. We can't just say that we accept the recommendations as written in the center board. Should we go one by one? Okay, next up, we will need to appoint an administrative assistant. And also, we will need to appoint the assistant principal, or excuse me, we'll need to appoint the deputy clerk. Do we have any?
So I'll move the clerk nomination of Ms. Chisholm. And do we do-
Second.
Okay, can we take a vote?
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Great. Next up, we'll need to appoint the deputy clerk. Any nominations? I can go ahead and move that we nominate the assistant principal, Anthony Smith.
Second.
Can we take a vote?
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Next up, we will need to appoint the superintendent of record as prescribed in the bylaws, which I believe means we will be nominating Dr. Haas.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along. Recommendation number F, it's recommended that we give authorization. So I guess I'll just go ahead and move that we give authorization to the director after consultation with the superintendent of record to appoint legal representation on an as-needed basis. Any
So,
sec-
can I just say, I'm happy to second it, or move it. Is the chair allowed to move those recommendations? My understanding is that you can second, but you can't move it. So I'm happy to move it.
Okay, and that's kind of a follow-up question for all of these, because how do you go about asking for do we just say we adopt all these recommendations and we can all just vote in a block on this, or?
I think we could, but since we're in the middle of it, we might as well just move forward
Okay.
because tradition.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move that. What do we do on the no, we're on the legal counsel.
So if you moved it, I seconded it. I think we can go ahead and vote on F, and then in the future, if someone can just go ahead and make a motion for G and then H, and we'll go from there.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Yes. I don't think it.
Would anybody like to make a motion about the treasurer?
I'm happy to move the rest of the nominations regarding treasurer and let's see.
Location, date, and time. You could just say you move recommendations for items G, H, I, J, and K. How about that?
Done. Yes, ma'am.
That's the way to do it.
Thank
Second.
you.
There you go.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne. Ms. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Great. Next up is adoption of the agenda. Do we have any motions?
So
I
moved.
move we adopt the agenda.
I second.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Coulson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
and Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Great. Next up is public comment. Ms. Chisholm, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
No, we do not.
Okay. After that is agenda item 2104, approval of minutes. Can I have a motion on that?
Madam Chair, I move the approval of the minutes.
Second. Do we have any discussion? I think we're ready for a vote.
Dr. Acuff, Ms. Coulson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Great. Next up is going to be approval of the financial status. If we have a motion and a second, then we can open it up for discussion.
I move the approval of the financial status.
Second.
Do we have any discussion on that? Or comments? Okay, I think we're ready for Kate. Any discussion about the financial status, or are you good with it?
I'm good with it. Sorry.
Okay.
I will just reassure everyone that the financial status is typical day-to-day business. There's nothing of note that that I, as the director, feel needs to be pointed out. All the bills are paid and we are in good financial standing.
Ooh, all the bills are paid. That's, can we repeat that?
Lights are on.
Bills are paid, lights are on, and roof is not leaking. You can't ask for a better report.
Fantastic. I think we're ready for a vote.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Coulson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Ms. Puryear,
Yes.
Wade.
I didn't hear me. Did you vote, Juan? You're on mute. That was a yes, right? A yes vote?
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry.
All right. Next on the agenda is item 2106, which is going to be approving the memorandum of understanding around the Cultivate Charlottesville Garden Partnership. And I think we're going to have a little bit of a presentation here. So Stephanie, I'll pass it off to you. You're on mute as well, Stephanie.
I just gave the whole spiel too. Good evening, Madam Chair, Center Board members, Dr. Atkins and Dr. Haas. I'm really excited today to kind of bring this this beginning of this project to fruition. Thanks to Ross Holden and Jeanette and Richard Morris, we've developed an MOU, and I just wanted to take an opportunity. It's included in your board book, but I wanted to take an opportunity just to point out a few key elements that we developed. Ross is here to answer any questions as the attorney who helped us develop the MOU. So the MOU states that K-Tec will donate the use of approximately 8,000 square feet of undeveloped land for a 5-year term. We will complete soil testing, which has already been done, and the soil is safe and good for to begin to cultivate the farm. We will explore the feasibility of installing a water line for the purposes of irrigating the farm. We are in the beginning stages of that with just sort of a fact-finding mission about the cost and feel like we have a solid plan, but we did not make that a definite without knowing all of the financial implications. So we're exploring that feasibility right now. We will provide storage space and equipment as needed for K-Tec students. to use when participating in farm activities, and CATEC will screen the adult volunteers. Also included in the MOU, Cultivate will develop, cultivate, and maintain an urban farm and keep it in an acceptable manner, which means keeping the weeds down and not overgrown, and that they will keep a very immaculate garden for us, and for them and for us. They will also install a deer fence that is dug deep so to prevent underground animal invasion as well as deer. They will secure grants and maintain the staff necessary to run the farm. They will provide our students with educational hands-on urban farming experiences, and they will maintain general liability insurance, naming K-Tec as the additional insured. And they will share produce from K-Tec's culinary program, as well as with K-Tec families that is harvested from the farm. And those are really the biggies that I wanted to make sure to point out. And Jeanette is here, as well as Ross and Richard, and I am here to answer any questions you all may have.
So I think, I guess we can have a motion to accept this MOU in a second, and then we can discuss it, see any questions or anything that we have.
Madam
Madam
Chair,
Chair, I move that we accept the MOU for Cultivate Charlottesville.
Any seconds?
I second.
Great. And then we open it up for discussion.
thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to recuse myself because I'm on the board of directors for Cultivate Charlottesville.
Madam Chair, I have a question. I don't know to whom it should be addressed. When you indicated you're going to be screening your volunteers, does that mean there will be an additional level of screening based on what Cultivate Charlottesville already has done? Or will you review the volunteer screenings that were done by Cultivate Charlottesville?
We will conduct our own screening as we would any volunteer or outside person that may interact or come into contact with students in our school. So anybody over 18 or that they will go through a screening process that we do, just to make sure that that it's safe for them to interact with our students.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question regarding number 6C about Cultivate maintaining the positions. It mentions they will maintain a paid staff of high school youth food justice interns. Can anyone tell me a little bit more about what that position looks like, what those positions look like?
I'm going to hand it over to Jeanette to answer that.
Sure. This is I think it's our 4th or 5th year in our food justice youth intern program, where we employ mostly high school, sometimes middle school, but mostly high school, Charlottesville City School high school students. In the past, it's been a 6-week intensive summer program where they work 20 hours at the various gardens. And then there's also a training unit to it on what is food justice, information about the food system, et cetera. This year with COVID, the youth really wanted to expand the program. So they've also been continuing to work 20 hours during the school year, and we have 10 youth. And Richard, do you want to add about some of the activities, the mural project or whatever?
Yes, so they're amazing out in the garden. Like currently they are, because it's winter time, we're working on an awareness campaign around the theme of land is liberation. And that theme involves them creating and designing and creating a couple of murals. One will be posted at our 6th Street Garden and one at Buford Middle School. During the season, they are doing everything from helping to start seedlings to actually planting those, once those seedlings are large enough, helping to plant them at the garden, and then maintenance in the garden throughout the year.
They also work on doing advocacy. Last year they spoke at a national conference in Savannah, Georgia. They were invited to talk about their program. They've presented to the school board, to city council. Next week, they'll be presenting to the joint school board city council meeting as part of public comment to talk about their work on the Healthy School Foods program.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. We also have a few K-Tec students on there as well, or maybe one. Is it just one now?
Yeah, I think it's just one.
One now. You've had more in the past.
Does anyone else have any comments?
It's probably in the agreement. I see that there's 4 2,000 square feet beds. How many additional square feet are we talking about in terms of
Well,
space?
the bed configuration may change.
Right.
So what we're looking at is if you look at the perimeter fence, which is going to be about 8,000 square feet, it might be a little more, it might be a little less. Within that space, I've calculated that we could get up to about 5,000 square feet of actual bed space. And how it's going to be configured, we're waiting to lay that out, but it's probably going to be 2 large beds, 1 medium-sized beds, and then some smaller raised beds.
Will the K-Tec students help you build the raised beds as a part of their learning process?
That would be awesome. I just love working with students in the garden, and so we absolutely encourage people from K-Tec to come out into the garden.
I think that might be a good way to continue the interest in the beds. For your vegetables that are not used by the culinary program or K-Tec families, do you donate the produce? Do you sell the produce? I mean, I know sometimes you just have an overabundance, and no matter how hard you try, something might, end up being composted. But what is your plan?
So in the last couple of seasons, we have produced, between 3 and about 5,000 pounds. Yes, 5,000 pounds of produce. Most of that goes to free of charge to people in public housing and subsidized housing in Charlottesville. We also get people who come from the county to some of our market days. Our market days, there are 4 sites that we rotate through throughout the month, 6 sites actually. So 4 on Friday and then 1 every other Thursday. And we set up our tables, and anybody can come up and pick out what food they want. We set it up a little bit like it looks like a farmer's market, and people get to choose what they want. We ask people, what would you like us to grow? Some people come out and help in the garden.
I will say, if you're familiar with our schoolyard garden program at Charlottesville City Schools, this garden will be slightly different. The core focus of this is to raise produce for the Urban Agricultural Collective community market. And then the secondary purpose is to partner with the K-Tec students. The teachers are welcome to come out there at any time, but we won't have like as robust of an education program as we do at this Charlottesville City School Gardens. It'll be more like a partnership with the students, and then one of our market sites will be there at the school to engage the students. And there's potential to engage the students in building projects, the vet students. We hope to have chickens in the future. And what was the third group? Oh, the culinary, of course, the culinary students who are doing their own growing projects as well.
Any other comments or questions? I guess I would add on, I think it's a great idea, and I'm very excited. And good luck keeping everything out. Like I said, I live across the street, and deer basically will come up to my front door and eat things. So build a strong fence. I think we're ready for a vote. Ms. Chisholm. You're muted as well.
My apologies. Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Ms. Puryear,
Yes.
Yes.
I thought you had, sorry, I thought you had recused yourself. So
Oh,
I didn't-
you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Strike that. Sorry.
So next up is
He's
agenda.
gonna come and help cultivate the garden. That's what he was saying yes to.
Thanks, everybody.
So next up is going to be approval of the funding request for 2021, 2022. Ms. Carter, do we have a presentation about this?
We do. If you give me 1 second. Okay, good evening again. And this is the budget proposal that you all have seen 2 iterations of, and this is our final proposal. Again, our budget focuses on high interest, high demand academies. We're continuing to try to build those academies up and provide as many opportunities for our students in those programs as possible. This budget will include the opportunity for us to continue our movement toward a full day pilot, integrated academics, work-based learning, business partnerships, and embracing instructional practices that focus on relevance and rigor, and continuing to build our student support services. The main adjustments from this budget are from the last year. We know that budgets can be tight this year because of the current state of affairs across the nation. So we tried to write the most conservative budget that we could, with really the biggest increases are a 3% cost of living raise and the addition of a math instructor. I do have to correct myself from the last meeting. Someone asked, I can't remember which center board member asked, but the question came up that if we did not have a raise, could we flat fund and still keep the math instructor? And I told you yes, and the answer is no. And so I have to correct myself there. I don't want to give you all misinformation, and it feels important to correct that. So if we did not get the raise, but the amount of this budget was approved, and we did not fund the math teacher, we could not fund a math teacher with just what it costs for raises. The overall budget is the overall decrease of 2.71%. The other budget, they're saying there are pieces in your board book if you would like to see the other pieces.
So I'll go ahead and move the approval of our funding request for 2021 and 2022.
Do we have any seconds?
Second.
I think we can open the floor up for discussion or questions that anyone might have.
Ms. Carter, so what will that mean if we don't have the math person?
What it would mean is that we could not offer the integrated mathematics and building trades and electricity. That's what it would mean. Right now, with this current budget and with the addition of a math instructor, we are able to offer geometry and building trades, as well as physics and AFDA, or algebra functions and data analysis, in our electricity program.
So what impact does that have on academics? You know what I mean? Are the math instructors that you have now the ones that you feel you need the most, and the one that you would not be able to fund is the one you need the least? Not to say that the math courses are not important.
Well, right now we don't have a math instructor. Currently, we have an English instructor, and we have a teacher that teaches economics and personal finance and government. We are able to offer science in our EMT and our vet science class using the teachers' credentials that are currently teaching those. So we have a little bit of science, and then we have English, government, and economics and personal finance, but we don't currently offer any math. The vision behind the math instructor is helping our students see the relevance and the connection between building and geometry and electricity and physics, and helping our students see that the real application for these concepts that they've kind of learned about in a more nebulous way.
Won't that help with scheduling as well for students who need the math component?
It will. Anytime I think we can offer an academic option here, it just frees up a student's schedule a bit.
Okay.
Ms. Carter, what's the 3% cost of living increase? Did you mention?
How much is it?
Just, I guess I'm curious, is that like a raise for people, or what? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yes, and we know at K-Tec, of course, our budget goes out before the city and the county have made all of their decisions. So just sort of as a placeholder, we put in a 3% cost of living increase, just assuming that there will be those in either school division. And years like last year where that changes, we'll just adjust if that doesn't happen.
Okay, that was my question, just making sure that we had parity between what we were doing for teachers that work at the other schools.
Yes, whatever Albemarle does is what we do.
Okay.
So if they offer more than 3%, then we'll have to adjust that way. If they offer less, we'll adjust that way.
Are there any additional questions?
Yes. Can you tell me what you're losing in the adult programs total to bring that down?
What we're losing
from this year? I mean, it's 61,000 less than the previous year. So I'm just wondering, where is that savings? Where are you getting savings? That's what I'm interested in.
We're getting savings from some personnel changes that we've made. That's probably one of the biggest changes. I don't know line by line, to be honest with that. Osborne, I'd have to get back to you for that exact amount.
Is that the loss of the computer tech, the networking?
No, it shouldn't be the loss of the computer technician. I actually think what that is that we projected a lower amount. We are projecting a lower amount of revenue because we know the current state of affairs for the country as a whole. When we wrote our budget last year, we did not anticipate the COVID hit. And so we wrote in a lot more, we projected much more revenue than we think we might bring in this year. And we've had some personnel changes. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
I can verify that though and email you all that I am correct.
I'm just always interested if you can save $61,000.
Why aren't you? Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, I believe we have a motion and a second, so we're ready for a vote. Ms. Chisholm?
Dr. Acuff?
Yes.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. McKeever?
Yes.
Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Great. Next up is agenda item 21-08, which is going to be approval of the program of studies.
That's also me. Sorry, I'll just go back really quickly. Just as a highlight and to remind everyone, we are offering very few changes this year. The program of study, we're removing the computer network hardware pathway. We're adding an integrated U.S. government and English 12 course so that our seniors that come to us can work toward both of those credits along with their trade class. And we are also including an addition of English 10, which will be embedded directly into Culinary Arts 1 and Cosmetology 1. We did this year have a lot of success, even in these strange circumstances, with the embedded English and cosmetology. Students really seem to be enjoying it, and it's made for some for some really relevant and enjoyable fun learning for our students. So those are really the only changes that we're asking you to consider this year.
Do we have a motion to approve the program of studies?
I'll go ahead and move the program of study changes.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Silence is speaking volumes. I feel like I should have a ton of questions about this, but I think it's been such a weird year that it's like, almost feels like we're just pausing what we were anticipating before and doing it now.
That's what it feels like to me as well.
So if no one has any questions, I think we're ready for a vote.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Purrier,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Great. Ms. Carter, I'm going to put you right back on the spot because next up is comments by the director.
Stop sharing my screen. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Ross has gotten off the call, but to thank Ross Holden, who, really over Thanksgiving break on the holiday yesterday, he worked so hard building the MOU and put a ton of time in it, and I would have been completely lost without his guidance. So I really want to say how much I appreciate him, and thanks to Dr. Haas for loaning him to me, and for him and just who he is and all the work that he put in. So I wanted to use my time just to say thank you, and to thank the board for their support of the Cultivate Seville project. I am extremely excited for the opportunities that it's going to bring to K-Tec. So thank you all for your support around that as well, and all of your support, but that particularly. And that's all I have.
Ms. Tomlin, do you have any comments for us? You're muted.
Hello, everyone. So I have a couple updates. I just wanted to update one on our spring semester enrollment. Currently, we have 170 apprenticeship students enrolled. We have 50 adult ed students enrolled for a total enrollment of 220 for the spring semester. 3 of our classes start next week, and all of the remaining classes will start the first week of February. And we will resume back to face-to-face instruction during the week of February 1st. We had 10 Auto Tech scholarships totaling $3,350 awarded to spring semester students enrolled in our Auto Tech classes. We also, thanks to the K-Tec Foundation, had $6,000 awarded to 14 students for spring semester. We received a very nice thank you letter from several of our apprentices and from Casey Carwile, the personnel director from Design Electric. We assisted in coordinating and having their apprentices complete some applications to apply for some grant funding through the Shenandoah Valley Workforce Development Board and a V2V grant, which was money appropriated by the American Apprenticeship Initiative to Virginia. So in total, that grant covered $38,590 for Design Electric's apprenticeships, tuition and textbook charges for both fall and the spring semester this year. So that was a big accomplishment and a lot of savings for design and the students. There's another $1.6 million craft grant that was awarded to Doley, and that is going towards apprenticeship training statewide. So I'm currently working on gathering information on that grant so we can support more sponsors and apprentices with those funds. And that is eligible for $1,000 per apprentice that can be awarded and applied toward their related technical instruction costs. Lastly, I will be attending the Council on Occupational Education Virtual Accreditation Candidate Academy in February. The goal of that is to learn about the accreditation process. We would like to be an accredited school, the adult programs and apprenticeship programs be accredited. And that would allow our students to utilize federal student loans and grants for our programs. So we're excited about that possibility. And then being able to offer different programs due to students being able to have access to those federal loans and grants. And that is all.
Thank you, Ms. Tomlin. Those sound like some fantastic updates. Mr. Smith, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I do not.
That works. Are there any questions or comments from board members? Great. Let me pull up my agenda here. Next up is going to be agenda item 21-10, which is other business by the board or superintendents. Does anyone have business they would like to bring up? Ms. Acuff, I'm going to put you on the spot. Dr. Acuff, I'm going to put you on the spot. Did we want to bring up the decoupling conversation at this point?
Well, I mean, I've had conversations with Matt and with Miss Dr. Haas and Miss Carter and Holden, Ross Holden, about K-Tec generally follows the Albemarle County scheduling, and it was a question about whether K-Tec could make independent decisions about when students could go in class, and the answer is yes. There are some challenges, but right now it sounds like our students will be getting back into the classroom February 1st, so it's perhaps moot. My concern grew out of the particular disadvantage for our students who require hands-on experience to get their certifications. And if there was a constellation of events or background in COVID cases where our students at K-Tec could attend, even perhaps if they were not going to the public schools. That was my concern. I don't know if either Dr. Haas or Ms. Carter wants to say anything.
If I may, I would just say that I appreciate your concern, and it's certainly a concern that I've had as the K-Tec director since this began. And as we approach second semester, I continue to be really concerned about the opportunities our students are going to learn, are going to lose if they are unable to come in and practice their hands-on lab skills. Certainly, they won't be able to sit for certifications, and there will be an impact. And then, of course, that's counterbalanced with making sure that our teachers are safe and that our students are safe when they are here. So I appreciate you thinking about it, and I think that if we're coming back February 1st, I think that maybe the discussion is moot, but I also I think that there is some weight and some importance to us being able to make some decisions. We're also a very small staff, so with vaccines on the horizon, there is a potential that our school could be vaccinated before a larger school, and so I would like some levity, or would like to have some leverage in there if that were to become the case, that we weren't back, but we had most of our staff vaccinated and that sort of thing.
I was also struck, Ms. Carter, in your statement that we are one of only 2 regional tech schools or tech programs that have not been in a hybrid situation for this school year. So even setting aside the state certifications, just in terms of the actual experience, our students will have to compete with those from other schools.
Yes, Massanutten Tech Center and Valley Tech have been, they're our closest, geographically, and they have been in a hybrid model since the first day of school. So that's part of what my worry is with our students when they graduate, being able to be competitive for jobs. And I know that I'm not the only educator that feels this way, but I certainly have a lot of concern about how this is going to impact. I think it will affect the trajectory of some of our students' lives. And I don't mean that to sound histrionic. I think that's real and true. And so that concerns me.
Well, I mean, the whole premise of K-Tec is having hands-on experience, basically, whether it's firefighting or culinary arts or woodworking or electrical or auto body. And if you can't do that looking at a screen.
Right. And our teachers have done a yeoman's job. They have worked so hard. They have certainly made lemonade out of lemons, and our kids are doing some really interesting and fun things virtually, and our teachers are using technology. But yeah, I mean, our kids need to have their hands on an engine. That's just not an experience that we can offer at home, and so those are the concerns.
So our next meeting isn't until March, I believe. So I think what might be appropriate at this point is if Kate wants to make a motion, we can see if we get a second, we can discuss it. And I get that it might be mute at this point because even Albemarle County is going back in 2 weeks, and that might be when you want to go back to the hybrid anyway, but it provides you the chance to make sure that hybrid learning is continuing if we do something different, let's say in April. So I guess provide you some of that authority. So if someone wants to make a motion, I'm happy to see where it goes and how people are feeling about it.
I move that the K-Tec board, let's see, I'm not quite sure how to frame this. That the K-Tec board assume authority to make decisions about when to return to hybrid learning.
I would argue that instead of us making the decision, it would be giving, which honestly, Ms. Carter, you might have some of that authority anyway, but giving Ms. Carter the ability to make a distinction, because I don't know if we'd be able to meet and decide.
Haven't we already granted her the authority? We granted her the authority in October.
So maybe what we're saying is just that.
Good point, Ms. McKeever.
That is a good point.
I think I was granted the authority, but I think that one of the guidelines that I promised the center board was that we would follow Albemarle County's recommendations, and we've already shifted a bit from that, where if we're in stage 3, we come back in a hybrid model, whereas the other high schools, they come back, only a specific population come back. So I think what I would request from the center board is maybe the authority to make an independent decision, or I don't know how you want to phrase that, but not be tied specifically to Albemarle County's decisions around reopening and moving to a hybrid model.
Which again, I would assert as, I think that the October motion, even if you did provide some assurance, I think the motion certainly gives you the flexibility. If you would like additional flexibility or even repetitive flexibility, I'm happy to grant that to you. I feel like I feel very strongly that you have a small staff, a small school, hands-on requirements, and I'm happy to have you, you're going to hear from your staff if you are doing things too quickly. And I just trust that we have given you the guidance in the past, and you have been very reflective and honoring of that guidance. And I think that I'm comfortable moving forward with giving you the authority to do that. If Kate wants to finish her motion.
No, I mean, that could be a motion, Ms. McKeever, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
I like the way you said it, Ms. McKeever. Go ahead, and you're on the spot. Make it a clear, concise, just to give her that extra that we support you in your decisions as we move forward.
Yeah, so I move that the center board grant the director the authority to determine when it is safe to return to the building in a hybrid and or in-person model. as she sees fit using, of course, period. Sorry.
Any discussion?
Of course, I would ask that you also talk to your staff, and I know I don't want you to think that. That's all.
I've already spoken to my staff after having a conversation with Dr. Acuff last week, and we have a meeting on Friday to brainstorm, kind of thinking through when vaccines are scheduled and sort of some of those things, so that we can. That's really been the balancing act, as I know it has with everybody else that's doing this. It's of the utmost importance to me that the adults in the building feel safe while we're continuing to serve kids. So take that extremely seriously, and we'll continue to do so.
I just have to raise one thing our COO mentioned at our school board meeting when I did raise this, is decoupling it from what county schools do may create a transportation issue for some of the students.
Well, I would say that just as I did in the past, I will partner with Rosalind and see what we're able to do. And bus usage has been pretty low. I do think it causes an equity issue if we're not able to offer transportation. And the city schools are on all virtual instruction, and they are providing transportation. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to come to a similar agreement with the county.
Madam Clerk, could you read the motion back, please?
I do not have it written down. I'm recording the meeting.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Mrs. Puryear.
I just asked, I moved that she be granted the authority to decide when to make the determination of when it's safe to reopen in a hybrid or in-person model.
Okay. I just thought we had done that earlier last semester, but okay.
Agreed. But if the director would like additional clarification, I'm happy to.
I just wanted to make sure I was being true to what I had said to the center board.
I appreciate that, Ms. Carter. Yeah, thank you for bringing up the transportation issue, because I had forgotten that, Dr. Acuff, but I do remember Ms. Schmidt telling us that we might not have transportation, might not have enough drivers. Is there any other discussion or questions before we vote? Okay, Ms. Chisholm, I think we're ready.
Dr. Acuff?
Yes.
Ms. Coulson?
Yes.
Ms. McKeever?
Yes.
Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Fantastic. Any other business by other board members or superintendents? Okay, well, I don't have to look at my agenda unless I'm going to get this wrong, but I think next up is adjournment. I think we're all done. Next meeting will be March 16th.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the week.
Congratulations. Thank you all. Have a good month.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.